The only other game I played this week was Thirsty Suitors, which is this indie game, which I forgot where we first saw it, but you play as, I believe she's South Asian. I believe she's South Asian. Don't quote me on this though. This girl, she comes back to her hometown, and she has to essentially Scott Pilgrim with her exes as she comes back to her town and all like that. You can pet a dog, as you can see if you're looking right now.
I'm pulling it up. I'm
Gotcha.
not petting it just yet, but
But so yeah, the here's what I felt like when I played it last night. Well, the demo starts off, and you're kind of like doing this mind type thing where it's like, oh hey, what type of relationship person are you and all? Like what kind of like your traits in relationship and everything. And you end up with like there are three different stats or categories. And as you level up in the game, you get like points to put into them that give you, more health, more defense. It varies based on where you like sink your points into and all like that. Um, so the story seems fine, but the combat, it's a turn-based battle system that they have here. And it's interesting, but I feel like the demo here, it did it did its job in showing what the combat and fights are like, but I feel like it could also turn people off from the game as well. Because when you're in the fights with your exes, I mean, again, this was a tutorial type of fight, teaching you the ropes of the game. So like
yeah.
it's constantly like after you do a move, it's telling you, okay, this is what's next, so on and so forth. But like even aside from that, like after each move that you and your opponent do, you all do like the characters will like goes like have a back and forth talk with one another, like just banter. And like you have input on what you say and everything. But it just felt like the flow of the fight was constantly getting broken up by this conversation they were having. And again, tutorial, it could be different and farther in the game. The characters might banter less. The conversation just might be a bit more interesting and all like that. But
Yeah.
the whole time I was doing this fight, like I'm not joking, this fight took like 20 minutes to get through because it was the constant we're back and forth talking. And then also here, let's teach you how to do this. So like both those things compounded on one another made the fight just feel like so dragged out in a sense. And that's not to say I didn't have fun with it. I did. Like your basic attack, it hurts your enemies and it increases your willpower. And you use your willpower is essentially mana points in a regular like fantasy RPG. And you use that to use other more powerful skills, such as like a thirsty taunt you can do, which you do a thirsty taunt and it makes your X thirsty for you, in which certain skills might do more damage while the enemy is thirsty. Or like you have a rage taunt you can do, which makes them angered, and then you have another move that will do more damage when they're angered. You have summons of some sort, like in the demo, the character you have to summon your mom to fight against the to fight against. She doesn't move against your ex here. The character is like the only thing worse than a South Asian guy's mom is my mom. She just like summons her mom, and her mom pulls off her slipper, and he's like, "No, not that," and just like whacks him with it and stuff. Like it is definitely a funny game. I like the style, I like the presentation of everything. Like there is flair to it. It is funny and all. Um, but I feel like this demo might I can see it turning people off from the game a bit. If they're like, is all the fights going to be like this? Just this constant like interrupting the flow of the fight. And I mean, it's all in service of the characters and like, okay, them either coming back together, like being making like a friendship after the fight or being enemies with each other or whatnot. But it was a bit much in this demo, just like how much interrupting there was of the fight. I was just like, I just want to do this fight. Like I don't mind you guys talking, but maybe we can like do it back and forth less, like maybe not after every turn or every two turns, maybe something. But yeah, it's a
Yeah, that could
tutorial
just be the
fight.
case of a
So
demo as well. Who knows?
yeah, like this is clearly like very first fight of the game, like first 20 minutes of the actual game. This is when this happened. So like it's clearly a tutorial thing. It could just be this fight specifically where this character wants to talk with you more. So I don't want to paint a broad stroke like this is the game as a whole. This is everything. Um, but yeah, it's fine. It's cool. It's fun. I think there's potential for a good story here too, especially just with Jala, the main character, and connecting with her exes on some level, way, shape, or form. Um, It's cool. And at the end of the demo is a funny, I mean, I think it's funny scene of like the guy you fight here, Sergio. He like gathers all her exes outside the diner, and he's like, "Hey, she's back, and like she's actually pretty cool." And one of the exes is like, "No, screw her. I don't want to have anything to do with her." It's like we gathered the council of evil exes here or something. It was fun. It was fun. I think there's potential
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing this game at Game Awards last year. It was actually on my list, and it looked cool. It made a better trailer than some of the gameplay looks like in real life. You know what I mean? It looks like there's definitely more jank to it, and it's like that could just be demo vibes. I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I like the concept. I love the diversity in the game, but it's also just, is it actually going to be fun to play? That's, I guess, to be determined
Yeah,
when it actually comes out.
yeah. I think it could be. We'll see what happens with it.